Welcome. I am Eric with Muathe.com. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Chipotle, which has had a nice move today, gapping up. And for the session, today's session alone is up about 9 to 10%. And again, ticker symbol is CMG. This is the daily. Just wanted to show this gap up for today. I'll come back to this daily here in a minute. I wanted to discuss where this move potentially comes from. This reversal that we see here on the daily over the last couple of weeks can be seen if you take a look at the long-term picture. So the monthly here, we can see, of course, it's up for the month, doing well. Where does this come from? Well, let me try and explain. And this is something I talk about based on my uniformity concept. Links are going to be in the description of this video for more information. But I call the concept uniformity because it tends to happen that whenever there's uniform action around a certain RSI level, there tends to be some good reaction, either up or down, that can be noticed from this. So let's take a look at this. So we're going to draw a line here connecting prior highs. In fact, let's draw that line again, since that line was a little bit too thick. All right, so let's draw a line here. Clearly, there's a breakout that takes place right here, 2019, and initially had a good move higher before being broken, or the trend was broken again during this move in early 2020. So this move here breaks the prior breakout. Hope that makes sense. At any rate, let's continue, because I'll explain this in a second. So let's draw that line again. I'll come back to this in a second here. So this line here gave us a breakout. Now, it is always good practice to not forego a line. In other words, it is good practice to extend your line. So if I take this line and extend it, guess what? It comes and connects nicely, perfectly, with this uniform activity bounce back above the line for this reversal area here. Now, of course, we haven't been back to those levels since then. So a good entry here also happened to be around that RSI level of RSI 50. And I discussed this as another concept. RSI 50 uniform activity support tends to be a good area to make an entry. Now let's discuss this current move, which is the main reason for this video. I've just been digressing as I began here. But anyway, so let's take the line again. It should be something like that. This time what we're going to do is take that breakout of the RSI and use the uniformity concept. There's a breakout here. Great entry. Take that area, draw what I call a uniformity line. Anytime you bounce on this line with uniform action, as we did in early 2020, it's a re-entry signal. And we can see over the last 2 months, we've again tagged the same line, and now we are bouncing. So we can say from this understanding, given that this concept of uniformity is one that I've been following and I've been teaching for many years, this is not unusual that there's a bounce coming on this line based on the uniformity concept. Now, before I go to the daily, and I want to show you how things get complex, take a look at these two other instances where we have uniform activity below the line, back above it for the lows of 2012. And then there's also this kissing of the 50 RSI level for late 09 lows. So this RSI 50 level has been used by the stock many a times, and we can see that when it was down during this phase here, 2015 into 2018, the RSI spent all of that time below 50. Now back to that daily chart, and on the daily I want to show you how things get complex, because after this nice move, and this is something similar to what we saw with Amazon, and that is going to be the previous video to this one, so check it out. But we can see that if we take this trend line break We can draw it somewhere there. A break that took place in September of 2021. Right there, which is this break right there. Take that break point, extend it. It should look something like that. Now, what we get is there's a resistance right there, which is that level. Resistance on the line there again, which is that area. And the ultimate high comes with resistance here, above the line, back below it. We target again here, which is that swing trade high. We target here again for that swing trade high on a daily closing basis. And you can see that we are back again to test that area. Now, there's absolutely nothing stopping the stock from clearing this area and moving higher, if it can. And at the same time, resistance around here, as we've seen, and as evidenced by the chart itself, resistance around here does suggest that the RSI would predict that the next meaningful direction would be for a swing trade down. It also so happens to be an area where we have a declining 50-day moving average. So maybe the RSI, once confirmed as resistance, given the slanting down 50-day moving average, could indicate that prices are poised for the next meaningful swing trade to be lower after today's nice 10% gain. So you got a strong monthly and a resistance that is showing up on the daily, suggesting that in the small time frame there might be a pullback, while the big time frame continues to be stable to bullish. Now keep in mind that it can also play out as one of the variables that we get a reversal lower to set the stage. So we might get resistance and a short-term reversal for a swing trade, and then ultimately what bulls want to see is clearing this area here on the daily, which also happens to be around RSI 61.8. So by the time you watch this, and if you track this in the coming days and weeks, you can learn from it in terms of what the energies are suggesting. In the short term, suggesting a pullback. But in the long term, the monthly charts are still intact until such a time and such a moment as to when we come back, let's say in time, if we end up breaking this line here, and if the RSI drops below 50, then that would be setting the stage for a meaningful break, and prices should be drifting lower also in the big picture with a RSI break. Otherwise, for now, the monthly chart is still pointing higher, but even within the construct of a strong monthly chart, we can get pullbacks for short-term swing trade opportunities, as the daily is suggesting. We shall see. And so it is. I am Eric with Muathe.com, and I leave you as I found you, in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Hence go forth rejoicing in the power and in the peace of the one Creator, Adonai.